What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to DOW. 100,000? What? By 2035, please do me a huge favor. Give me a thumbs up on this video. Hashtag stocks with Jason in the comments below. More on that later. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in my content creation history, I am sitting here with a Yingling. I don't drink that much, haven't done drugs in 13 years. But this calls for celebration because you may have noticed today that the Dow Jones Industrial Average did in fact hit 25,000. Just like you know who said it would in the middle of March when it looked like COVID-19 was going to take all of us down. I said, no, don't sell your stocks. In fact, buy more. Amazon, Microsoft, Disney, QQQ, SPY, DIA, hashtag stocks with Jason. You'll see it all there. Because, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, check out this shirt. I drink and I know things. Shout out to my Game of Thrones fans. What a terrible ending to the sequel, but more on that later. How did you know, Jason, when the Dow got to 18.2 that it was going to come roaring back? Well, it's a combination of 5 things that I'm going to share with you today. And then I'm going to end with a blue pill or a red pill example. And we're going to see how far down the rabbit hole that you guys are willing to go. So why is the market, Jason, going to Dow? 100,000. And by the way, if you don't think that's much, the stock market normally doubles every 10 years. We're talking a quadruple over the next 15. So it will be the biggest bull market in human history, if I am right. And by the way, do not go out right now and buy stock. It's too late. You should have been buying in March and April. Wait for a pullback. Talk to your financial advisor. Reason number 1, why we just began in the midst of COVID-19, the biggest bull market in human history, is demographics. A few months ago, the millennials, and we're not even talking about the Gen Xers, but the millennials overtook the baby boomers in terms of size. So 2020 with the millennials, average age 42, looked just like 1984, no pun intended, with the baby boomers who had turned 42. And if you know your stock market history, from 1984 to 1999, when I was in Florida, partying like it was 1999 was absolute fuego. We had a surplus. Bill Clinton, if you remember, was president in the mid to late 90s. They balanced the budgets. He got along with Newt Gingrich. Things were rocking and rolling. We just began, believe it or not, in the midst of the biggest lockdown in human history, a bull market that will rival anything that we have ever seen in our life. And I'm talking about the eradication of AIDS, cancer, homelessness, poverty, gone from the face of this earth over the next 15 years. Reason number 2, stimulus. In 2007 and 8, they did something called TARP. It was $2 trillion. It took 7 months to put it together. In the last 2 months, they've raised $8 trillion between the Fed and the US government. $8 trillion. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2008, the low got down to 6750 in the Dow before it went to almost 30,000 in 12 years, almost a 5-fold increase. Now we have $8 trillion. 4 times the size of the pile of money. And you'll remember in February, we had 3.5% unemployment. We had 12-year highs in housing. This economy worldwide, in fact, was in fuego. Now you're going to dump 4 times the size of the amount of money on a market that already showed it could go up 4 or 5-fold in 12 years? Is it way outside the realm of possibility that 18.2 on the Dow, March's low, couldn't easily go in 15 years, an extra 3 to 100,000 or more? Very possible. Reason number 3, interest rates. We lowered rates in 07, 08 to 0. Same things happen now. In fact, they've gone negative. That does 2 things. It makes it a lot easier to finance our debt. Instead of paying 3 or 4% on $24 trillion of debt, now they're paying damn near nothing. So they might be able to issue another $20 trillion, believe it or not, and still make the interest payments relatively easy. But more important, when you go to 0 or negative, it pushes all the savers off the sideline. Grandma and grandpa can't make any money at the local CD at the street, at the bank down at the street corner. They're going to be pushed off the sidelines into the Verizons, into the Campbell Soups, into the 1.5%, 2%, 3% dividend paying stocks, which is going to be even more fuel to the fire when they come out next year with a $2 to $3 trillion infrastructure plan to rebuild all the roads, bridges, tunnels, and airports to something that might look like what you're going to see in Dubai. I'm telling you right now, we're looking at 4% GDP in 2021 and maybe the same in 2022 because you got demographics, you got massive amounts of stimulus, 4 times the size of '08, you've got 0 to negative interest rates, and you got number 4, AI. We didn't have AI 10, 12 years ago. Artificial intelligence. By 2029, general AI is what they call it, will be as intelligent as a human being. By 2050, 100 to 1,000 times more intelligent. The increase in efficiency and productivity, especially as I've talked about in the past through voice-activated AI, is going to be epic. We're going to work a lot less, 3 or 4 days tops by 2025. The amount of wealth that's going to be created as a result of all 4 of those things combined with number 5, the flowering of human consciousness, the Great Awakening. Even the biggest cynic among us understands that something's not right with COVID-19, right? You get this. When you can go to Walmart without a mask or Target and you can blow your entire $1,200 stimulus on their number 1 and 2 sellers, big screen TVs and video games, cleaned out. Walmart just said yesterday they've got none left. But you can't go to your church up until a week ago with the windows rolled up, with a mask on. And you can't listen to your preacher on a radio. Why is that? Well, the Illuminati, Soros being a good example, self-proclaimed atheist. Most of them don't even believe in God. I'm not saying you have to, but that's one example. An even bigger one, follow the money. Churches don't pay taxes. There's no money there. You can't control God-loving, God-fearing folks that want to go to the parking lot and get their weekly dose of the Almighty. There's no money, there's no power in that, but hey, you want to go down to Walmart and blow that entire $1,200 on big screen and video games, maybe grab some toilet paper, is there any of it left? That's fine. What stocks are going up? Amazon, Microsoft. I don't have to like those 2 guys to understand. I know the rich are getting richer. I know the division between the haves and the have-nots is getting wider. That doesn't mean that we can't capitalize on what the markets are going to do. But the fact that we're all realizing the truth, that we're connected, we're one, we're 8 billion people that have a cell phone in the palm of their hand, and information travels at the speed of light. And we're realizing that a few bloodline families and a few men, mostly white, that have lots and lots of money and a handful of minions that are pulling the lever like the Wizard of Oz. Just take Fauci as an example. He goes on 60 Minutes in the first week of March and says, nothing to worry about. You don't need a mask. Then he comes out a couple weeks later and says, wait a second, folks. You can't leave the house without a mask and make sure you stand 6 feet apart. Then he goes in front of the Senate the other day and says, if it was up to me, we'd never shake hands again. What? Then he goes on the Sunday show the other day, 2 days ago, and says, if we stay locked down any further, it's going to be no good. We're going to pass the point of return. We need to get back to work. What? It's like the Wizard of Oz. Do you remember when it was the kid? I remember 40 years ago sitting between my parents, rest both of their souls, eating my popcorn. And I thought the Wizard of Oz was this big, giant, scary Superman type of guy. And when they pull the curtain back, it's this old, feeble, weak, flimsy old man. And that's what this pulling, starting, put the mask on, no, take it off. We can't ever shake hands. No, we got to get back to work before it's too late. They're losing control. The deep state, for lack of a better word, is losing control. They keep trying extreme measures because we're realizing with 300,000 or thereabouts that have lost their life, rest every soul. That's not even a fraction of 1/10. Do the math. 99.9 some odd percent of our folks are doing just fine. So when you add up all those 5 things, if I haven't broken enough laws already, I just want to say thank you in closing. I've got a 10-minute limit for LinkedIn. I love you. I appreciate all the support. Hang in there. The next 15 years are going to be absolutely epic. Thanks for watching.